Hi, and welcome to Thursday Comics. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, and I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee. You can pre-order both those books by following the pre-order link in the show notes below. So this is the Tales of Asgard backup from Journey into Mystery number 111. We covered the main story a couple episodes ago, and I was not able to track down the Tales of Asgard story at that time, but I just recently picked up this sort of beat-up copy of Marvel Masterworks that has a chunk of the series in it. So we can finally take a look at The Secret of Sigurd. Stop, you may come no further. I am Sigurd, and this forest is mine. Returning from a special mission for Odin, we find Thor, Loki, and Balder. Soon, Loki slyly suggests that they take a shortcut through the forbidden forest of the mysterious Sigurd, and thus begins our tense, gripping drama. I love this whole setup. I've been kind of fascinated with this setup ever since I was a kid, and ever since I would read some of the old Thor comics, and even read some of the old Norse myths, and I love the idea of the hero and the villain being sort of traveling companions, sharing adventures together. It's just like a really great formula, really great setup. And I guess also kind of, I know there were stories like this in the old myths, but it's also kind of like a Cold War setup where you have some kind of expedition force and there's a spy in your midst who's sort of sabotaging it the whole way through. And so look to Fantastic Voyage just for a quick example. But so here they are, and what a great trio. And Loki looks super cool with his fur cape. I think every superhero and supervillain looks better with a fur cape. Superbly written by Stan Lee, supremely drawn by Jack Kirby, savagely inked by Vince Colletta, sagaciously lettered by Artie Simic. And of course, Jack Kirby is the co-writer of these comics. He didn't just draw it. He co-wrote it and drew it. Sigurd's armor is looking like $1 million. Just really great, from this view. Not quite as impressive from this reverse angle, but really great. He's taunting these three to a fight. Thor's the one that steps forward. And of course, that Loki, with Loki in the band, there's no accident that they sort of run across this, possibly impassable obstacle of Sigurd. Just all out action, really great, more of these great Jack Kirby 4-panel pages, each panel a poster. They go in, and right off the bat, it's not even a contest. Thor's hammer smashes Sigurd's club to bits. Sigurd's on the ground. It's over. But then he gets back up and is, giving it right back to Thor. Thor knocks him down again. And he comes back even stronger than he did the first time. This guy, the more times he falls on the ground, the more he seems to like it. Thor gives him this big punch. And again, we've got Sigurd's point of view here. So we're getting punched by Thor, and he's gone flying back. Just really great composition, unique to Kirby. You don't see this kind of stuff in comics before Kirby. And Loki's just kind of enjoying what he's seeing. Balder's troubled, and he suspects that Loki's up to something, that Loki knew how this was going to play out. Thor, heed my words. Sigurd is the son of the earth sprites. Each time his body strikes the ground, they give it new and greater strength. So that is the secret of Sigurd. So yeah, the more times he gets thrown to the ground, the more strength he gets. He gets his strength from the earth. Now that Thor knows this, he sticks his hammer in Sigurd's belt and then flings him into space. When you reach the deserted asteroid I have aimed you at, you'll be master of all you survey, but never will you menace either human or godling again. So great stuff. Sends him into space. Great little fight, great little action sequence. And Loki is steamed about all this. Jack Kirby later on created a series of god drawings that we assume are part of a pitch that he was putting together for DC, where he would sort of bring his sort of Norse mythology bag of tricks to DC and create a DC equivalent of the comics that he made over at Marvel as the Thor comics. And instead of having Thor as the star of it, it was going to have Sigurd, and so a very different looking Sigurd. But so Sigurd is a figure that Jack Kirby has a sense of, has a an understanding of, and obviously, wanted to do more with. And of course, Sigurd here looks very much like the heel, like the bad guy, and Thor is very much the face. And his DC version of Sigurd was a much more Thor-like, much more of a face. Just sort of worth noting there. It also reminds me a bit of Thor's first encounter with Hercules, which is coming up later. So, Thor's kind of, Kirby's kind of playing with this idea of Thor equivalents who Thor, sort of fights, and in the case of Hercules, eventually befriends. So I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, and I Am Stan, a graphic biography of the legendary Stan Lee. You can pre-order both those books by following the pre-order link in the show notes below. I'll see you next Thursday.